Malaysia, a progressive and peaceful nation where its multi-ethnic society lived together harmoniously. This is proven through the efforts by the government and society since the nation's independence in contributing to the success of the nation as seen today. The peace, harmony and progress enjoyed by Malaysians are the results of the government's successful governing of the nation and at the same time combating the crime of corruption. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, or MACC, is proud to be part of this national contribution. The establishment of the MACC was a result of an evolution in the efforts of the government in addressing the level of corruption in this country long before its independence. The Anti-Corruption Agency, or ACA, was established on the 1st of October 1967, and on April 16, 2008, the then Cabinet agreed to the establishment of the MACC in replacing the ACA towards enhancing transparency, independence and professionalism. As a consequence of the establishment of the MACC, the MACC Act was passed by Parliament and came into force on January 1, 2009. The Commission is headed by a Chief Commissioner who is appointed by His Royal Highness the King of Malaysia. The MACC's daily functioning is shouldered by its 19 divisions at the headquarters, 14 state offices and 18 branches nationwide. The MACC's operations are closely monitored by 5 independent oversight bodies established under the legal provision of the MACC Act 2009, as well as by an administrative order. These bodies, comprising of 47 members, form a check and balance mechanism that supervises and ensures the effective and efficient implementation of the MACC's roles and functions. Members of these bodies represent the general public and comprise of academicians, professionals from the business community and the corporate sector, and political leaders from both the ruling and opposition parties. The MACC is responsible for both the Parliament and the public. The Anti-Corruption Advisory Board, also formed under the legal provision of the MACC Act, advises the Commission on policies and strategies in enhancing the efforts in eradicating corruption and other aspects on the issue of corruption in the country. Members of the committee are also appointed by His Royal Highness the King of Malaysia. The Special Committee on Corruption is formed at the parliamentary level under the legal provision of the MACC Act 2009. Amongst its many functions is to advise the Prime Minister on corruption issues in the country. The committee is also tasked to examine the annual report of the MACC and table the report in Parliament. Members of the committee are appointed by His Royal Highness the King of Malaysia. The Complaints Committee, also formed under the legal provision of the MACC Act, monitors the handling of complaints pertaining to the misconduct, which are non-criminal in nature, against MACC officers, and considers appropriate actions as well as recommendations on work procedures towards reducing public complaints against MACC officers. Members of the committee are also appointed by His Royal Highness the King of Malaysia. The Operations Review Panel is formed under an administrative order, whereby its members are appointed by the Prime Minister of Malaysia. The main functions of this panel are to monitor, examine and advise the MACC on aspects related to its investigation operations. The Consultation and Corruption Prevention Panel, also formed under an administrative order, reviews and advises the MACC on activities related to corruption prevention, such as community education, inspection and consultation. Members of this committee are appointed by the Prime Minister of Malaysia. The act of corruption is becoming more complex and challenging. As such, the MACC continuously enhances the effectiveness of its efforts in the fight against corruption based on 3 principles: independence, transparency and professionalism. Independence. The Commission is only answerable to the 5 independent oversight bodies. The MACC conducts its investigations without fear and favor and is free to investigate without having to refer to or be influenced by any party. Decisions on prosecution of cases are determined by the Attorney General's chambers. Transparency. The MACC's operations and administration are closely scrutinized and monitored by the 5 independent oversight bodies in ensuring transparency. The MACC's annual report is tabled in Parliament and is accessible to the public. Professionalism. The MACC performs its duties professionally and ensures that they are carried out accurately, fairly, effectively, and efficiently. The MACC management constantly ensures that its officers possess a high level of integrity, are skilled, and are experts in the fields related to the job requirements. In line with the government's efforts in transforming the public sector, the MACC is continuously strengthening the overall capabilities of its officers and staff according to its work culture and systems. In July 2011, the Transformation Executive Committee, or JET, was formed to study, examine and supervise the MACC's top management in implementing its strategic plan. Experts in various fields were appointed to lead and ensure the successful implementation of the strategic plan and its planned strategies. Through JET, PMO operations was introduced in August 2010, consisting of 7 working teams. In achieving the objectives, PMO operations coordinated with PMO Human Capital, which was formed in early 2013. In continuing the transformation agenda, PMO Prevention was formed to review the MACC's prevention structure. MACC officers are provided with intensive training, both locally as well as abroad. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Academy, or MACC, was established to provide training for MACC officers as well as officials from foreign agencies. Since 2011, the Certified Integrity Officer (CEIO) program was introduced by MACC, involving participants from government agencies and the private sector, having capabilities in planning, implementing and monitoring the effectiveness of integrity programs in their respective organizations. On the 23rd of October 2012, the MACC Leadership Excellence Center, MLEC, was established by MACC specifically for MACC officers, focusing on harnessing leadership values based on integrity and good governance. MACC is recognized by the International Anti-Corruption Academy as its regional training center for the Asia-Pacific region, equipped with facilities of international standard. As the agency mandated by the Government of Malaysia in fighting corruption, the MACC is committed to uphold the public's trust in ensuring the harmony of the people and the success of the nation. The 3 main prevention strategies are: enforcement. The MACC enforces the law with trustworthiness, fairness, and firmness. Complaints and information received are scrutinized before administering any further action. Sufficient evidence will result in the prosecution of the persons involved. Community education. Emphasis is given on initiatives in educating the public in fighting corruption. Initiatives on disseminating information, education and communication are carried out in encouraging participation from the public and as well as the various sectors in working together with MACC towards the prevention of corruption. Prevention. Corruption can occur due to weaknesses in systems and procedures. As such, the Commission provides assistance and consultation to the government and the private sector in detecting and closing corruption loopholes within the organization. The effectiveness of anti-corruption efforts requires the commitment from all parties. Among the important roles are in the reporting of corruption cases and being a witness in court. Every person must take the stand of do not give and do not accept. Members of the public should have the mindset as well as a change in attitude by not compromising to any form of corruption. Corruption is no longer a domestic issue, but has become a global concern, which warrants greater international cooperation. In view of this, the MACC has broadened its network through bilateral and multilateral relations with foreign anti-corruption enforcement agencies within the Asia-Pacific region and with other international organizations. The MACC was chosen to host the 6th Annual IAACA General Meeting and Conference in October 2012, and the APEC Train the Trainers for Voluntary Codes of Business Ethics in Medical Device, Biopharmaceutical and Construction and Engineering sectors in August 2013. These appointments are an honor and recognition for Malaysia. Recognition was also accorded to the MACC's Chief Commissioner in being appointed to the board of the International Anti-Corruption Academy, ICA, as its deputy chairperson for a 6-year term. In November 2013, the Chief Commissioner of the MACC was appointed as the Vice President of the International Association of Anti-Corruption Authorities, IAACA. In addition, on the 24th of September 2008, Malaysia, among other countries, ratified the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC. This paves the way for efforts in corruption prevention in the country to be in line with international standards and requirements. The government's determination in fighting corruption is reinforced through the Government Transformation Program GTP 1.0, launched in 2009. Under GTP 1.0, fighting corruption was listed as one of the National Key Results Area, NKRA. The main objectives of the NKRA fighting corruption are to reduce corruption through enforcement and compliance, to improve Malaysia's score in the Corruption Perception Index or CPI, and to improve the public's perception on the integrity of the public services. Various initiatives have been implemented through reforms in structures, the law, policies, systems, and approaches. In ensuring the continuous success of GTP 1.0, as well as towards achieving a high income status and a fully developed nation by the year 2020. GTP 2.0 was launched by the government to see through and improve on existing efforts, as well as to introduce new initiatives. The continuous support and commitment from all parties is key to the success in realizing the aspiration of Malaysia attaining a developed nation status and conquering the threat of corruption.
Corruption is not about race, religion, or political ideology. Corruption occurs regardless of your origin, belief, or status. Corruption is a crime. Those involved in corruption are criminals. Let's make a difference. Fight corruption.